Hey everybody, happy almost New Year. This is December 27th and we are winding down 2025, getting ready for 2026. So in the new year, one of my I'm not going to say resolution. I'm a little bit of a commitment phobe, so I like to use the term maybe intention or goals. One of my goals or intentions for 2026 is to tackle some of the projects that I have on my wall back here and use up some of the yarn that I have. I've got boxes and boxes of yarn and projects that I have started or intended to start and never did, but have the yarn. So my plan is that I'm going to try to tackle those projects and complete them before I let myself start anything new. We'll see about that. I'm going to try. One of the things that I want to make sure that I get a jump start on is a temperature blanket. Many of you are familiar with temperature blankets. Maybe you're not. That was a relatively new thing to me when I first started crocheting. So what a temperature blanket is a way to kind of record the year's temperature as you create the blanket. So you assign a color for a temperature range, and each day you crochet whatever that temperature was for the day. It can get pretty detailed. You can make it as detailed as you want. I'm going to go about, since this is my first blanket, a very simple temperature blanket. So if this would be something that's new to you, you might want to follow along and create one with me. So one thing that I found that's going to be super helpful, and I'm so happy that I found it and I want to share it with you. There is a website, let me put my glasses on here, called temperature-blanket.com. This website is absolutely amazing. What I like about it is that it takes you through the planning stages of your temperature blanket, which really is the hardest part, I think. Once you have it all figured out what you're going to do and planned, it's just a matter of stitching. So what you'll do is type in the website. It's temperature-blanket.com. The first page asks you for your city or region, wherever it is that you want to pull up the temperatures for that area. So what's really neat about this site is that you don't have to necessarily make your blanket day by day by day in the future. You can go back to a year that maybe is special to you and find out what the temperatures were on a daily basis so that you can make a blanket to represent that year. You may want to make a blanket for, say, a couple's first year of marriage, or maybe a special year to you. And you can go back, and this website will actually tell you what the temperatures were for each day of that year. So you'll put in a place, and I'm just going to make up some place here. Let's say, I don't know, let's go to Houston, Texas. I don't know why that hit me. Houston, Texas, United States. Okay. So, and let's say, I'll just leave this, it's already set for January 1st of 2024. So this is going to be able to go back and show us what the temperatures were for the year 2024. So maybe your plan is like mine to make a blanket for 2026. Well, that information is not going to be at this website yet. However, if you want to get an idea of what your blanket might look like, you can go to the year prior and use those temperature ranges. So I'll show you on this. We'll use 2024, so we'll have a full year worth of temperatures. And you can see that you can change the duration. You can customize it, or I'm just going to do a year. So I've got my location, and I'm going to search for those temperatures. Okay, so here it breaks down day by day, the high, the average, the low. So what you'll need to decide when you make your blanket is whether you want to go with the daily high, the average, or the low. That can be kind of tough to figure out if you don't have this tool. This tool will help you see how things change. I'll show you. All right, so here are your temperatures listed for the year. Now, you can next go to your colors. What is really neat about this is that you can put in your own personal colors that you may have. So in my case, since I already had my yarn, what I did was went to choose your colorways, and you'll see that it has just about every brand of yarn you can think of. So I went down to Karen Simply Soft, which is what I had. And now it shows you all the different colorways that the yarn comes in. So you'll click your colors here and it will save them for you so you know which ones you're using. So I used, I think, 14 different colors in mine. You can choose how many colors you want to use. Most blankets use between 10 and 16 or so different colors, but it's completely customizable. So I've already gone in and put my colors in. You can see them listed above here. You can either figure out your own range, configure your own range manually. You can put in, if you have in your mind set a certain color breakdown that you want to use, or what this will do is it can help evenly distribute your colors so that you have a blanket that is sure to use a little bit of each. So it has this automatic button, which is what I like to use, and you can go by a different kind of range. I like to use the high temperature of the day, and I'll show you why here in just a second. So next I'm going to preview what my blanket might look like using these colors and using these ranges. All right, so I'm choosing to make a blanket that is going to go row by row. It's going to look something like this using the colors that I've put in and the temperature ranges that I used. And I like that. So, and I wanted to, like I said, find something that's going to be very simple, something that I won't get overwhelmed with because this is a year-long project. So what I'm choosing to do is the linen stitch. Some people call it the moss stitch, for a couple of reasons. One, it's not a huge stitch, so my blanket's not going to come out gigantic. And because you are stitching every other stitch, you're only making half the stitches. Let's say I want to pick a different design. They have different designs here. One of the designs that I was considering was the moss stitch square. This is what my blanket would look like if I chose this one. Again, I decided that that might be something that I would give up on because I'm going to have to attach all of these squares together in the end, and there's going to be a lot of tails to weave in for each of these squares. So I thought, that might kind of discourage me after a little bit. So I think that this blanket, this design is going to be the easiest. I'm going to avoid sewing in my tails because I'm going to actually put a fringe on the end. You can just kind of put in all kinds of different designs that you may want just to get an idea what your blanket would look like if there's a corner to corner. That's pretty. I like this one too. I just didn't want to go that ornate. Again, I'm going to do something very simple. But it'll just give you kind of an idea roughly what your blanket may look like. So let's talk about choosing your highs or lows. Here we go. If I were going to, you just kind of scroll down here, instead of choosing the high of the day, if I wanted to go with the average temperature, let me show you what my blanket would look like. Let me get rid of that high. There's not a lot of color variation, right? If I went with the lows, again, there's really no reds and things in my blanket. So I think using the high, the daily high, gives you a lot more color variation. I think that's just a prettier blanket. So depending on where you live, it may be different for you, but this is a really neat tool down here to kind of gauge how much yarn you're going to use, what colors you're going to use, and how they'll be distributed. So I just can't say enough about this website. I think it's absolutely amazing. One thing that I haven't figured out how to do yet, though, is I have another color that is Caron Simply Soft, but it's their brights, and I can't see a way to create your color palette using different makers or different styles of yarn. You pretty much have to stay in the same family of yarns, if you understand what I'm saying. So in other words, if I wanted to throw in, for example, a red heart yarn, I don't know how to put it into my color palette because it's outside of the Caron brand. I haven't been able to do that yet. So this, from what I understand, you can do, but you have to stay within the same brand of yarn, which worked for me because everything I had was from Caron Simply Soft. Something else that is really cool, let me see if I can pull this up, that I found is that when you go to the weather here, you can save all of this. So let's just say I'm going to save this project and I'm going to download it here. It's going to give me the preview image or whatever it is I want to save. Right now I'm going to save my gauges and weather data as a PDF. You can also put it in as a CSV file, and you can update your chart on a daily basis. I'm not so much of a computer person as is obvious, so I prefer pencil and paper. So what I'm going to do is just track my daily temperatures in a calendar. So what I have here, let me see if I can get this. You can put in the information that you want. I'm going to take out the low and average. There we go, and download it. Okay, so here it is, and what's really super cool about this is that it actually will print your colors next to it. Now I've taken and attached yarn onto mine because my printer, for whatever reason, is not printing in color right now. I worked on it, as you may have seen some of the ink on my fingers, and I just couldn't get to print color. So this is one way to do it. This is the way most people do it, is attaching yarn to a card, which I laminated because it has to last a full year. But you can print this and it shows you your colors right next to it and the color name, which I thought was very, very helpful, because if you do need to get more of a particular color, if something happens to your label, you don't want to be stuck wondering exactly which color was which. So this is a good way to keep the record of that. So what I did was print this page and laminated it, and then I cut off the information that was on the other side here that I thought was just more than I needed for my new blanket, because that's using a prior year. But it gives you the ranges. So for example, if I have a day that is 99 or 94 degrees to 99 degrees, I'm going to be using autumn red. And it just breaks this down here as a handy little helpful tool. Oh, and something else I did was I went in and edited it as best I could. And I put my hook size on here, because if this turns out to be like any projects that I have already going, how many times I've gone back and couldn't remember my hook size, I can't even tell you. So I put it on my card too. I wanted to show you too, just in case my explanation isn't as clear as you'd like, which I'm sure it's not. There is a link here at the top of the screen that you can link a video. Is this going to be an ad?
If you've ever wanted to
No.
make a temperature blanket,
There we go.
got overwhelmed by the math, picking colors, or finding historical weather data, this video is for you.
There you go. I'm going to stop it there. But this is the guy. He made a video that explains step by step how to use the website. And I just think it's such a cool tool, and he did such a great job. I can't believe he's only got 14 subscribers and 208 views, although it's only been 10 days. So I highly encourage you to visit his YouTube channel and give it a like, subscribe, give him all the credit he's due here, because wow, this has just been a great tool for me. There is a way and a link as well that you can go to. I think he has a Ko-fi page. It's somewhere linked in here. Supporters. Okay, so you can support him and thank him by making a small donation for his efforts and helping to make this such a handy tool for people to use. Whoopsie. There we go. So anyway, that is my plan for 2026. Believe me, there are many, many other projects that I need to complete that I bet if we looked back at last year's January video, I probably have some of the very same projects that I still haven't even picked up since that video. But this one I'm going to do. I think that this is something that is going to be pretty and a great way to kind of just commemorate this year and use up some of my yarn stash that I've got going here. So if you think that a temperature blanket is something you might like to tackle for 2026, join me in a little crochet along. I am going to post videos periodically of my progress, and hopefully that will work to motivate me to stay on my blanket and maybe to encourage you and motivate you to finish yours for this year. So guys, I'm just about finished editing the video, and I've realized that I did not film an ending. So I thought I would use this opportunity to introduce you to the newest member of our household. This is Rudolph, or Rudy. He is a red-footed tortoise. I adopted him from our local shelter. They named him Eggnog, and I told them that they missed the mark with naming him, that they should name him Rudolph the Red-Foot Tortoise rather than Eggnog, since I adopted him on Christmas Eve. So I just wanted to thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you will be joining me with my temperature blanket this year and that we have some crochet along time. I'm excited to see how my blanket turns out, and I'm excited to see how Rudy grows through the year. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If so, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel and joining my little family of crocheters and critters. If you are interested in getting to know some of my other pets and critters around the house, drop me a message below and maybe I can put together a little video to introduce you to the rest of the gang. All right, Rudy, say goodbye. See you next time. Bye, everybody. Catch you in the next video.